You've been silenced for very long, and every time you try to resist, they put you in jail. For my children. You've controlled your mind for so long to the point where you let them decide what your kids should learn, what gender they will be. And now you've let them to come for the whole nation, destroying what Britain once stood up for. They use this media machine not to report the facts to you, but to tell you what to think and what you should do.
Always be careful.
They're hiding the facts behind the noise, and they're recruiting pedophiles to tell you how to behave. And these politicians who meant to protect you, they're out there smashing your head on the ground. And no jail time for them. This road we've been on has been very dark for a very long time, and it's time to shine a light on the truth and advocate for justice. We the people make the nation, and if we don't stand up and advocate for justice, then we certainly won't make this nation great again. So we have to create a place for that, a place that can contribute to a more informed society. And that place is Next Frontier Media.
You are listening to The Baraka Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, patriots, truth seekers.
Here is your short guide to Peter Mandelson's tangled web of deceit. At the center of it sits a spider, Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted pedophile and a financier. He is friends with Peter Mandelson and gives Peter Mandelson tens of thousands of dollars, including $10,000 to Peter Mandelson's husband, who wants to go on an osteopathy course. Peter Mandelson gives Jeffrey Epstein confidential information which could be market sensitive, while Peter Mandelson is working for this man who's busy bailing out the banks, Gordon Brown. Eventually Gordon Brown leaves office, Peter Mandelson is out, but he comes back in. And one way he does that is by being friends with this man, Morgan McSweeney, who is chief of staff to this man, Keir Starmer. And Morgan McSweeney suggests that Peter Mandelson should become ambassador to the United States, despite the fact that he knows this man, the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Eventually, the public cottons on that Epstein was a wrong and Mandelson knew him, and so he has to go. But the one man in number 10 who defends Peter Mandelson is Morgan McSweeney. And now, Keir Starmer has to decide, should Morgan McSweeney stay or should he go?
Or should Morgan McSweeney go? That is the question that we're going to be asking. Or maybe should the whole government just dissolve right now? Should Keir Starmer also pack? Keir Starmer, should he go or should he stay? That's the question that we're going to be asking here. Folks, we call him.
We knew this. I asked him at that dispatch box. He gave Mandelson his full confidence at that dispatch box, not once, but twice.
All right, folks. Welcome to the show. God, Keir Starmer has been caught. And just like a little baby he is, he had to confess. Baby, eating sugar, no papa. Open your mouth. Oh, yeah. Oh, the spoon is still in your mouth. You're eating sugar. We caught you, Keir Starmer. Now, we're going to be covering a lot of stories today, folks. Brace yourself for an impact. We're going to be covering a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know if maybe we might get a general election this year. I'm not sure. It looks like we might. It looks like we're getting close to that side of a debate. It looks like we might. Keir Starmer soon. The amount of U-turn, the amount of being, all the time he's being caught, the amount of lying, the amount of deceive. I mean, it looks like the general election is nearby. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're also going to talk about Rupert. I like Rupert. He's a cool guy, but I'm thinking, okay, bro, if you really want change, you got to play the big ball. You can't just be doing Twitter stuff. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. But first, let's cover this story of Keir Starmer. Now, Keir Starmer, of course, Prime Minister question time, he was asked by Kemi Badenoch about his ties or his relationship, Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Keir Starmer basically said, yes, I knew everything, and I still appointed him into the work that I gave him, into being ambassador to the United States. It's kind of scary to see that this guy knew this Mandelson guy was a friend with a pedophile, and he still allowed him to go and represent us in one of the biggest and most powerful country in the world, United States of America. That's very rude. to us and also rude to the Americans too. The fact that Keir Starmer thought it was okay for a guy who's implicated and friend with Jeffrey Epstein. Listen to this. This is Keir Starmer being asked when little crumble of evidence started coming out about Jeffrey Epstein with Lord Peter Mandelson. And this Keir Starmer was asked if he knew anything about this, if he knew a little bit about this. And of course, Keir Starmer, as always, he said, no, I didn't know anything. And I think this is important for us to talk about. It's important for us to sit here and say how it is. This is what Keir Starmer did. Now, all right, let's watch this.
Why you appointed Peter Mandelson in the first place to this job, when in essence all the facts that we now know we knew when you did the appointment. It's just that there's been some sort of lurid headline-grabbing language that we've seen since.
Peter Mandelson, before he was appointed, went through a due diligence process. That's the propriety and ethics team went through a process, and therefore I knew of his association with Epstein. But had I known then what I know now, I'd have never appointed him. Because what emerged last week were emails, Bloomberg emails, which showed that the nature and extent of the relationship that Peter Mandelson had with Epstein was far different to what I had understood to be the position when I appointed him. On top of that, what the email showed was he was not only questioning, but wanting to challenge the conviction of Epstein at the time. That, for me, went and cut across the whole approach that I've taken on violence against women and girls for many years, and this government's approach. On top of that, what emerged last week, on Wednesday evening late, were Peter Mandelson's responses to questions that have been put to him by government officials. I looked at those responses and I did not find them at all satisfying.
You said that details emerged Wednesday afternoon, but from what we can work out, details were furnished to bits of the Whitehall machinery, the Foreign Office and Downing Street, quite a bit ahead of you defending Peter Mandelson on Wednesday at Prime Minister's questions. And people are scratching their heads saying, why didn't you, the Prime Minister, make more effort to make sure you were briefed on this? Were people briefing you properly? Were they acting on your behalf? Were they acting slightly on Peter Mandelson's behalf, maybe?
It was only on Wednesday.
Yeah, so this guy comes out. Keir Starmer says, hey, I didn't know anything. That's why, had I knew, I would not have appointed this guy. I would not have done such a thing. Okay, all right, you didn't know. You appointed this Peter Mandelson guy into this position of power to represent us to the United States as an ambassador because you didn't know. Okay, all right, you didn't know. This is what Keir Starmer said not long ago. Now today, when he was asked by the Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch if he knew anything, and of course, as a little coward he is, he had to admit. Listen to this, folks.
When we knew this, I asked him at that dispatch box, he gave Mandelson his full confidence at that dispatch box, not once, but twice. He only sacked him after pressure from us. I am asking the Prime Minister something very specific, not about the generalities of the full extent. Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister.
Watch this.
Yes, it did. As a result, various questions were put to him. I intend to disclose to this House all of the national security, prejudice to international relations on one side. I want to make sure this House sees the full documentation, so it will see for itself the extent to which time and time again Mandelson completely misrepresented the extent of his relationship with Epstein and lied throughout the process, including in response to the due diligence.
Mr. Speaker, I think it is shocking what the Prime Minister has just said. How can he stand up there saying that he knew, but he just asked Peter Mandelson if the security vetting was true or false? This is a man who had been sacked from cabinet twice already for unethical behaviour. That is absolutely shocking. And that is why later today, my party will call on the government to release all documents relating to Mandelson's appointment, not just the ones the Prime Minister wants us to see. Because this government is trying to sabotage that release with an amendment to let him choose what we see, the man who appointed Mandelson in the first place. Labour MPs now have to decide if they want to be accessories to his cover-up. Can the Prime Minister guarantee that he won't remove the whip if they refuse to vote for his whitewash amendment?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the first exemption is in relation to anything that could compromise national security. That is not a small matter, and many members on the benches opposite will know precisely why that needs to be in the exemption. When we were drafting humble addresses, when we were sitting over there, we always made sure that exemption was in because we knew how important it was to the then government. I don't think I've seen a humble address without that in, because and just to be clear, to vote to release something that would prejudice national security is wrong in principle. The second exemption is in relation to things that would prejudice international relations. There will be discussions about security and intelligence and trade, which are highly sensitive to the two countries involved and to third countries. Well, they have to ask themselves whether they want to vote to prejudice our national security. I don't think they do. I don't think, in fairness, that they do. But can I reassure the House, Mr. Speaker? Let me reassure the House that the process for deciding what falls into those categories will not be a political process. It will be led by the Cabinet Secretary, supported by government legal teams. So they will be looking at the question of prejudice. They will be making that decision. The only additional thing I just want to put before the House, because there was a discussion this morning with the Metropolitan Police, is that we are in discussions with them about any material that they're concerned will prejudice their investigation. We're at an early stage of that discussion, but I didn't want to have the House not know that discussion is going on. What is he saying?
Bro, folks, did you guys understand what this guy said? What was he saying? The guy was waffling for like 2-3 minutes straight. He's like, yeah. I can't even make his accent, to be fair. I can't even. Keir Starmer has lost the bag. He's fumbled the bag. He knows he's fumbled the bag. He knows his time is coming to an end. So he had to have a little bit of fumbling, talking, rumble around. Nobody, folks, are you guys, I want to see this document and what this document said, no matter how sensitive this is. Okay, we can redact the sensitive part. Maybe whatever trade deal that they were talking about, whatever. You can redact that. Show us what he said in regards to you being informed about Peter Mandelson's connection with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know everything. Show us that at least the public deserve to know that. How about we get the Mandelson files? The Mandelson file. We want that as well, Keir Starmer. Can you do that for us? But of course, you're going to ramble about security. But then, a couple months ago, you were so much confident that this guy had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein in terms of knowing Jeffrey Epstein and had a relationship with him. You denied and you said you had full confidence in him. But today, you're admitting that you knew, but you still hired him anyway. Now, here's where the question, here's where we have to raise super important questions, right? Because you see this guy, Morgan McSweeney, right? Morgan McSweeney, okay. All right, Morgan McSweeney. Now, this is where we have to ask all these important questions, like who's in charge of the government in Keir Starmer's? Who's in charge of the Labour Party's government today? Because if Keir Starmer knows that this guy was a pedophile and this guy was had a connection to to Jeffrey Epstein, but he went ahead anyway, well, somebody must have been pulling the strings, and this is where it comes in. This is where this guy, Morgan McSweeney, the chief of staff of Labour Party government today, of Keir Starmer's Labour government today, this chief of staff is the one that approved and told Keir Starmer that, hey, don't worry, that's my guy. He's fine. Maybe there's pictures of him in the underwears with kids, but come on, that's my guy. Listen to this video. This video is very crucial. I think this video is the one that's gonna put Keir Starmer down. I think this is the video that made him come out. And then if this video is true, if what these guys are saying is true, then we have to ask some questions like, who's in charge of the government? Who else is telling Keir Starmer to make decisions that he wouldn't otherwise make by himself? Listen to this, folks.
Here is your short guide to Peter Mandelson's tangled web of deceit. At the center of it sits a spider, Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted paedophile and a financier. He is friends with Peter Mandelson and gives Peter Mandelson tens of thousands of dollars, including $10,000 to Peter Mandelson's husband, who wants to go on an osteopathy course. Peter Mandelson gives Jeffrey Epstein confidential information which could be market sensitive, while Peter Mandelson is working for this man who's busy bailing out the banks, Gordon Brown. Eventually, Gordon Brown leaves office, Peter Mandelson is out, but he comes back in. And one way he does that is by being friends with this man, Morgan McSweeney, who is chief of staff to this man, Keir Starmer. And Morgan McSweeney suggests that Peter Mandelson should become ambassador to the United States, despite the fact that he knows this man, the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Eventually, the public cottons on that Epstein was a wrong and Mandelson knew him, and so he has to go. But the one man in number 10 who defends Peter Mandelson is Morgan McSweeney. And now, Keir Starmer has to decide, should Morgan McSweeney stay or should he go?
Yeah. Should Morgan McSweeney stay as well or should he go as well? That's the question we need to be asking. Because it looks to me that this Morgan McSweeney has so much power in controlling the government to an extent where Keir Starmer would close his eyes and still elect and still allow this Peter Mandelson guy to go out there and represent us to the United States as an ambassador. So this guy is a pedophile. This guy has ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Pictures of him in the underwears. The investigation, the sensitive information of the security that we have alerted you that this guy, who is obviously Peter Mandelson, has ties to Jeffrey Epstein. So they've briefed you on that. But no, because Morgan McSweeney can pull strings, you still allow this Peter Mandelson to be an ambassador. So that's a big red flag into this government. Who else is pulling the string that we didn't elect? Well, I didn't vote for Starmer, but who else? Who's in the background pulling the strings that we don't know of? Because you have to know that the Jeffrey Epstein file, most of them are redacted. A lot of the evil stuff, a lot of the names are redacted. Yes, some people might say, yeah, they're redacting the names because they want to cover the victims. Actually, no. They're redacting the name because they want to cover the people who are still alive and who are still pulling the strings today. It's a big operation, folks. Do you think Jeffrey Epstein did all that by himself? It's a big operation. And all those people who killed, some communist eating people, all those guys who alleged raped and did all the horrible stuff, all their names are still redacted. And we only got to know about the ones who are powerless today, like Prince Andrew, like Sarah Ferguson, maybe like obviously Lord Mandelson. We got to know about these guys. But the powerful few who are still alive, who are still pulling the strings, or maybe who are the replacement of Jeffrey Epstein himself, those guys are still pulling the strings. That's why almost every name of the powerful guys are redacted. So then we have to ask, who else in the Labour Party that we're going to find out later on is pulling the strings today? Because we got to know that Peter Mandelson was pulling the strings, heavy strings, in 2009, 8, and 7 during the Gordon Brown administration. We got to know that this guy, this business secretary guy, Lord Manderson, was pulling the strings, trying to change policies. Now, who else is pulling the strings today? Because now we got to know Morgan McSweeney pulled the strings in electing his friend, Lord Manderson. Despite Keir Starmer knowing, he still pulled the string. Are we gonna get to know who else is pulling strings? I'm not sure, folks. I'm gonna let you decide by yourself. But this story is deep, folks. We got a lot of things that we're gonna show you. But here's an article here I think is important for you to see. There's a guy who's been very vocal. John McDonnell. He's been very vocal about Jeffrey Epstein and Peter Mandelson. He tweeted long time ago, I have to say, long time ago. And I think the public could have thought this guy was nuts. And he said in 2024, this is what he said. This is what this man said. I think it's important I read it to you. For many reasons associated with Peter Mandelson's history in and out of the political office, many will feel Keir Starmer has lost the sense of political judgment. This was 2024, not long ago, all right? Not long ago. This is just him being in power, being in parliament for 5 months. And John McDonnell had some sort of like, hey, this guy has lost the plot, folks. Now, of course, recently now, it's come out that John McDonnell warned the Labour Party. He warned, I said, this quote here. I'm quoting from John McDonnell, he posted. I warned Keir Starmer on Mandelson, but he never listened. So how many people told Keir Starmer that this was the wrong move, but he still went ahead anyway? How many people? I want to know. Hundreds of people said, no, this guy is the wrong guy, but Keir Starmer thought, nah, I'm making a decision. And he went ahead anyway. How many people? Or how many people do we need to come out and say, yeah, I warned him too, for us to say, oh yeah, we have to get a general election now? How many people? How many? Because I think it's too many now. Now, here's Sky News breaking it down and telling us more in a sense where the Labour Party were told by the UK security services, they were told full on that Peter Mandelson was the wrong person. And now that we learned that, yeah, they did get told that this guy was the wrong person, but they went ahead anyway. Listen to this, folks.
Let's bring in our Deputy Political Editor, Sam Coates, who's got more on this. Sam, what do you know?
Jane, Sky News understands that the security services did raise concerns about the potential appointment of Peter Mandelson, Lord Mandelson, as ambassador in Washington, as Britain's person in the US. However, Number 10 overrode those concerns and appointed him anyway. I have been told by 2 sources that there were issues, there were flags raised by the security services during the appointment process, yet the political decision by someone in Number 10 was to press ahead with that appointment, believing that the benefit of appointing Lord Mandelson, Peter Mandelson, who you can see that on the left, outweighed the flags that they were being warned about by the security services. This raises big questions about the judgment of people in Number 10. It raises, Jane, questions about who in Number 10 made the final calls on this and whether or not Keir Starmer was fully armed with all of the facts about whether or not Peter Mandelson should be appointed. I understand that there is considerable dismay in parts of the security services because they are effectively being accused by some of not doing their job properly. They are insisting they were aware of concerns around Peter Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and ran that up the flagpole. Nevertheless, inside Number 10, they decided to press ahead with that appointment that has backfired, leading to the sensational firing of Peter Mandelson earlier today for having a relationship, a friendship with Jeffrey Epstein that continued after he had been convicted for sex trafficking and after he had been sentenced to jail, with some of those intimate messages being published earlier this week. The question has been, did Keir Starmer know? Well, it appears the security services are telling people, we did do our job properly, we did warn them. They decided in Number 10 to press ahead. I suspect some of this will raise questions about whether or not Morgan McSweeney, the Chief of Staff, did take all the information to Keir Starmer, whether or not the Prime Minister was fully in the loop. Those questions currently unanswered. But what is clear is that MPs are slack-jawed by a Downing Street operation that has lost 2 of its biggest beasts in the space of a week, and ended up with the spectacle of Downing Street last night saying that Peter Mandelson should remain in his job because he was upfront about his connections to Jeffrey Epstein after he was convicted for sex trafficking. That was their defence. This morning they changed their minds and fired him. The question really now is, how did Keir Starmer let this happen in the first place? What did he know at the point that he went ahead with the appointment? Did he have all the facts? And what did they do with those warnings from the security services? Number 10 say, Jane, that the vetting system worked in the normal manner via the Foreign Office, but have not gone into any details or particularly challenge any of our version of events.
Yeah. I guess we're just going to wonder what they are going to do next. What will Keir Starmer do? Will he resign? Will he be a man and say, all right, actually, I messed up on this one. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going home. Will he resign? I doubt Keir Starmer will resign. But it's still important that we talk about this. It's still important that we put fire on this, folks. I think there's so much fire on it. There's so much energy we can put on this that will make this guy run away like a coward he is. Make this guy. I don't think he's able to perform under pressure. The more pressure you put on this, the more chances you will have of making Keir Starmer go into hiding. All right, we're gonna move into the next story, folks. Next freaking story, breaking news right now. Do I really break the news? Yeah, let's break the news right now. Breaking news right now. Reform UK has rejected Tommy Robinson's endorsement. I know you're probably thinking, Barack, that is nuts. Really? How could they do that? Well, they did it. They freaking did it. Oh, God. I mean, to be fair, I was kind of expecting this, given the amount of people, given the amount of media outlet were trying to get the Reform Party to de-announce. And guess what? The mainstream media have won. They put so much pressure on Reform UK to the point where now one of the MP has come out and say, we do not want Tommy. I mean, they've said it multiple times. And they've said, now they've come out and say, we do not want his support. Issue withdrawal as soon as possible. Man, don't take my words for it. Take this guy. Take this guy. Danny Crooks. He was asked how happy he was about the support. And he says, no, I don't want the support. Tell him to take it away and remove it. Oh, God. This is nuts, folks. All right, listen to this.
Danny, I just want to ask you, because there is a by-election coming up in Greater Manchester, in Gorton and Denton, and your candidate, Matthew Goodwin, who's the candidate for Reform, he's been endorsed by the far-right activist Tommy Robinson. I mean, are you comfortable with that?
No, not at all. No, we don't want his support, and it's up to him who he chooses to endorse. But, you know, people are free to do that. We had Bonnie Blue endorsing us too. We're not going to make a particular welcome to that. People will endorse us if they want to, but no, we absolutely stand against what Tommy Robinson stands for. We have a vision of a civic nationalism, of patriotism for this country, no matter where you come from, and that message is resonating across the country. All people from all different walks of life and backgrounds are supporting us. We don't want Tommy Robinson.
But do you think you should be rejecting that? Should Matt Goodwin be rejecting that?
I think he's done
more
so
clearly.
Well, I think we've done so. I think well, Nigel Farage has very clearly, and over many years, said that we don't want the support of the far right.
The candidate, Matt Goodwin, has.
Well, I presume so. I mean that's that's party policy. We're not having anything to do with Tommy Robinson.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. Danny Crooks, a man who recently deflected to Reform UK, now is echoing the same thing that Nigel Farage has been echoing. that he does not want Tommy Robinson's support. Now, the reason why this is important, yeah, because a lot of people think Tommy Robinson is just a guy who will do anything to benefit himself, who will just say anything that will benefit himself, who will just do whatever that benefits him. But Tommy Robinson endorsed a party that always denounced him, endorsed a party that always says random stuff about, oh, he's beating wife, or about this, or about all the allegations that Nigel Farage has made about Tommy. But guess what? Tommy, despite all that, Tommy went ahead and endorsed them. But still, these guys can't really, they can't look the other way and be like, wow, this guy, wow, we've attacked him so much and he still wants to support us. That, I mean, he must put the country first. He must be super for the betterment of the country. Wow. No. They do not look at it that way. They look at it as like, no, we do not want your support. They just want to cast him to the dogs. Like, hey, we do not want to see you. It doesn't matter. We would want everything to burn down, but we just don't want to work with you. What is so bad in just accepting the endorsement and be like, thank you so much. Patriots are coming together. Let's go. Vote here. This is the post that Tommy Robinson made. Endorsing Matt Goodwin. Vote Matt. And of course, there was a lot of criticism. And of course, he posted this before Advance UK announced their candidate, Nick Butley, which we're going to get on the show very soon. Now today, we're learning that this man does not want the endorsement. Does not want to have anything to do with it. But I'm not surprised because we've seen a lot of this before. We've seen a lot of this media outlet trying to force Nigel Farage and Reform UK to de-announce Tommy. And they finally have succeeded. Nigel Farage refused to reject Tommy Robinson's Gorton Denton endorsement. Nigel Farage refused to de-announce, refused to reject it. For so long, they asked him so much. Oh, even the Labour Party went out there protesting to get Nigel Farage to de-announce him. And today, the media have successfully been vindicated in a sense where they have won. They put pressure on them and they caved. Just like every single mainstream party, they always cave into pressure. God. Now, here's one of their candidates.
Danny, I just want to ask you because there is a...
Here's one of their candidates who went on LBC, Sarah Porchin, and she was asked if man, this is insane, folks. She was asked about Tommy Robinson as well. This is another MP, folks. She was asked about Tommy Robinson, and I'm not going to tell you what she said. I'm just going to play you the video so you can make up your mind, and you can listen to what she says, and then you can comment what you think. But listen to this, folks.
The last time that Reform won a by-election in this country, Sarah was elected. That's right. And you have used your platform to go on TV and say that you don't want to see black or Asian people on television.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Is the consequence of Reform getting a seat. So you're not going to disavow the endorsement by Tommy Robinson?
People can endorse who they want to endorse.
He's literally a white supremacist.
We cannot stop anybody endorsing us.
The leading racist in this country.
We cannot stop anybody endorsing us.
You're okay with that? But you can say right here on this show that you don't want his endorsement. Are you going to say that?
Look,
you're not going to say that.
The point is, no, it's not shameful. You're shameful in accusing me of being a racist when you know there's not a racist bone in my body. But
I know what you said on television, and I know that your candidate is endorsed by Tommy Robinson.
Look, we do not choose who endorses us.
So Nigel Farage has said he doesn't want anything to do with Tommy Robinson.
Absolutely.
So you would say that?
Of course.
So why can't you say you don't want his endorsement?
Well, I listen. He's done it. We can't take it back. Everybody is free to endorse.
But you can't say you don't want it. You can say he's an abhorrent individual who's spreading abhorrent views.
I would agree with Nigel that there is no place for Tommy Robinson in Reform as a member of Parliament or in any other way. But we cannot stop somebody if he wants to endorse us. He's going to endorse us.
Yeah. The media have successfully been giving what they've been campaigning and asking for. They wanted this, and the Reform UK have caved into it. They have been pressured into denouncing Tommy Robinson. Daniel Cruz, however way you say his name, he gave up very quick. One question, and he was like, he went on, and he said, "Oh, I do not want it." And of course, Sarah Puchin followed through as well, saying she does not want Tommy Robinson, and she doesn't want to be near Tommy Robinson. But hey, you can support us, but we do not want you. And now Danny Cruz has come out and said, actually, we do not even want the endorsement. How dare you? You are destroying the name. Oh. This is just the same thing. This is just same, how other pies were this is just the same. It's insane, folks. It's insane. There's a lot of breaking news I have for you today. A lot of breaking news. So brace yourself for an impact. Here's another one. Are you guys ready for this news? All right, Keir Starmer has a new plan, and that new plan is to get new houses. He's about to invest over £100 million. £100 million into this new scheme. And this new scheme is about building new council houses. Not for you and I, who have been working since I was 16, by the way. God, I need to stop. Maybe I should get some early retirement, right? But maybe not for you and I, who have been working since we were able to get our national insurance number. But no, for the new arrivals, the migrants who come in, maybe yesterday, maybe coming in tomorrow, maybe coming in next week, they have this new scheme which will cost the taxpayers money. The taxpayer over £100 million, and they're investing into new homes, not for you and I, but for migrants, illegal migrants. Folks, I mean, when will this get, when are we gonna stop hearing about these stories? When is this gonna finally finally fade away? Because it looks like a lot of people are against it, but the government just keeps on going. Listen to this, folks. Our good friend Alex Armstrong takes it away.
We're told this policy will save money by ending expensive hotel contracts. But let's be honest, it just shifts the burden onto local communities already stretched to breaking point. Councils are warning they can't cope. Families are being priced out. And in some areas, tenants are being pushed out so properties can be handed over for migrant accommodation. Putting it bluntly, this is displacement of native British people, isn't it? People watching this know exactly what's happening in your local areas. And many of you who might be on these waiting lists for social houses have followed the rules, waited years, and now you're told to wait even longer because someone else has jumped the queue.
That's right.
This is going to mean councils that sign up for this new programme will become magnets for illegal migrants. Towns will be flooded with them as they know they'll be jumping the queue for a free home after contributing absolutely nothing. If you're British, English, Scottish, Welsh, Northern Irish, you work, you pay tax, raise a family and play by the rules, you shouldn't come second in your own country, should you? I shouldn't even have to say that out loud. But that's the truth. You are becoming second-class citizens in your own country.
Yeah. This is it, folks. Every single word there he said. Every single word. Now, of course, you would think, all right, maybe there's going to be a little bit of crumble that you're going to take for yourself. Maybe they're going to leave a little bit on the plate for yourself. But no, actually, no. Of course, they're investing £100 million to get these new houses for illegals. But of course, they're not leaving anything for you. Because look, I'm just going to read how many houses have been given away to private landlords and how many houses have been taken away from this right to buy, which is kind of like, what the heck? They're taking the houses away from you. So no crumble, not even a little bit for you. So let me just quickly read what's more important here on this article that I'm putting on the screen. Last year, but the decision is expected to be met with furies by those who feel extra money spent on social housing should be for local residents. Yes, that's right. Last year, 1.3 million people were on the waiting list for social housing in England, the highest number since 2014. 2,000 houses, social homes were lost in 2023 to 2024, primarily through right to buy. Remember that? Remember when Angela Rayner, all those things that they announced, which they bought themselves houses and they sought themselves out, but no, they didn't leave anything for you. Now, of course, they're giving it to, they're investing in a new scheme, not for us, but for new arrivals, which is kind of crazy. The article carries on. By the way, this article is from the GB News. Right to buy sales and demolition. While England is expected to sell off 8 times as many council homes in 2025, 2026 as they built last year. So, okay, I don't need to explain anything to you guys. I'm just going to read this thing, okay? In London, only about 5% of those on the waiting list have any chance of being rehoused. Okay, I'm not even going to comment on this, folks. So, according to the City Hall inquiry, in some boroughs, the average waiting for a family home is up to 15 years. Oh, God. Should I carry on? Like, this is like, how can a Prime Minister read this and still think, oh yeah, actually, we're going to invest £100 million for this over here? How can you read this and feel like, oh yeah, no, the British people are sorry. Let's invest £100 million for this new scheme. It's like, how? This is 101 betrayal, bro. I don't know. You don't even need to go to a class to learn about this. This is full on putting the British people at last in that sense. This is crazy. So we can carry on reading this. But basically, it just goes to say that, hey, nothing will be done for you, but everything will be done for somebody else. Despite how much money you've invested in this country, nothing will be done for you. Asylum seekers are being housed in the newly built council homes as a part of a government's push to end the use of migrant hotels. Up to 2,000 local authorities are said to have keen on the scheme, while 5 councillors, Labour-run, Brighton, Hove, Hackney, Peterborough, and Hackney, alongside with Liberal Democrats run polls, have confirmed their interest in according to the iPaper. Okay. Now, I got a video of a guy going to this. Obviously, a migrant was given a new house, and he was kind enough to allow people to go inside to see this new house. And I want to show you this new house and how newly built it is. This guy, of course, he arrived here illegally, and he was kind enough to let people in for us to film. And here's the video that I want you to see of this house, of this guy being given a new house. And of course, they're investing over £100 million just to do this. All right, so listen to this, folks. Well, maybe watch this video.
His telephone, yeah? Can I come in? Yeah. Can I come in? He says I'm allowed in. He says I'm allowed in. He's giving me permission. So, yeah. Some stuff on here, guys, look. Serco. It's run by Serco. You what? He's let me in, give me permission. It's run by Serco, look. Is it? Bloody hell. Yeah. Yeah, difficult, isn't it? What's that down there? Is that the eating? Got £1.65 left. You're going to have to ring up the council, get that chopped up. These are all the doors. Where's the kitchen for real? Can I go in the kitchen, yeah? Kitchen. Here's the kitchen. Nicely fitted kitchen, look. Washing machine. Nice hot plate and that. The eating's on. Oh, then let's do more. Yeah, I'm going. Just want to show you around. Right, have a good day, yeah? Whoops, sorry about the door. Have a good day. So, yeah, this is number 2.
Yeah, this is where we are, folks.
This house here is housing illegal immigrants. Brand new house. Ordering big pizzas and that, etc. Yeah, this is what it is today, guys. If you come over illegally, you get put in a house like this. If you're British, you've served in the forces or anything, and you've lost your house, you get put on the streets. These guys can come over here, get a brand new house, all the takeaways, and live nice. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is where we are, folks. It's gonna get worse. It looks like it might get worse. But what can we really do? What can we really do? What can you do? What can you freaking do in that sense? Where, of course, this will go on. Asylum seekers to be housed in a newly built council house in push to end the use of hotels. The use of a problem that should not exist. But anyways, we create that problem, then we do something else to fix that problem, right? Isn't that how it goes? Isn't that how it goes, folks? Isn't that how it freaking goes? This will not get better anytime soon. Now, I got another video I want to show you. It's Sarah Porchin slamming Labour Party for of course, their action in obviously doing this. Because, of course, this is not a good thing to do. But I think it's important that I show you this video. Listen to this, folks.
Sarah Porchin.
Does the Home Secretary agree that British citizens should be prioritised over asylum seekers in the allocation of publicly funded housing under the £100 million pilot scheme?
The honourable member may have heard me say earlier, we have started the process of hotel exit, which has meant we've reduced the amount of money that we're spending on that. We want all British citizens to be adequately housed. That's why we've released the homelessness strategy that we did at the end of last year. And beyond that, we want to have order and control in our asylum system so that the British people and their proud record of providing shelter can be continued and that people can have confidence in that order and control.
Yeah, this is what we have. This is United Kingdom right now. Nobody can tell you otherwise. This is what we have. This is what we're dealing with here, folks. And then, of course, they're going to lie. They're going to try to tell you, oh, yeah, it's not true. Barack is lying. And then, of course, obviously, when I show you the visual evidence of these newly built houses, you can't really say I'm lying, can you? Because it's true. It's happening. It's real. And it's important that we sit here and we talk about it. Like, why are we creating a problem where we're housing these guys in a hotel? That's a problem that we created. We didn't have to create that. We created that problem. Now we have to solve that problem. Not by closing down the hotel, but by building new houses for them. So it's not like they're fixing it. They're just building another problem. And the hotels, we all know the hotel won't go down. They're gonna use a hotel to basically have them temporarily and then move them to house. So it's gonna be like a funnel, right? Everyone's gonna make money. All the businesses Circle, all the businesses will make money. It's gonna be like a funnel. Those guys come in, they go to the hotel, then they go to the house. Come in, they go to the hotel, they go to the house. Somebody is making a lot of money here. Somebody is making billions of pounds, millions of pounds. Someone is making money here. And we gotta know who. And by the way, that one person who's making the money will always be involved politically in every single party to make sure that it protects his interests. That's why you see this problem with the Conservative. Now you've seen this problem with the Conservative. Now you're seeing it with the Labour Party. And guess what? You're probably going to see it with Reform UK. Because they say a lot of good stuff. But then they never actually bring out their policy full on. Like, hey, what is your policy on this? They only say stuff, As you already know, politics is more about sound bite and, getting the sound bite out there so you can go viral. It's more about that. But they don't have any policy that will end this. Or maybe that policy that they have has not been drafted properly. Or maybe somebody is reviewing this policy to make sure whichever person is donating to them will not be hurt if they do come into government. That's how it works, folks. Everybody's protecting their interests. These billionaires will always protect their interests. And that is the dangerous thing. That is the dangerous thing. All right, folks, I want to move on to something important, something big. I'm sure you guys know this man. He's made a lot of noise. I have huge respect for him. I think a lot of you guys also do have a lot of respect for him. And it's good to see people like this who come out and they do everything and anything to put the country first. And I'm talking about a good man, goes by the name of Rupert Lowe. Now, of course, Rupert Lowe has launched a national, in a sense, is been doing something that the government can't do. He's been doing something that the government is refusing to do, and he's putting these people on he's exposing the corruption that the government, the things that these guys can do, but they easily just say, "Oh yeah, we can't do it. We don't have enough resources." Now, of course, Rupert Lowe launched an inquiry last year, and he raised over £500,000 within a week or 4 days, I think. And of course, obviously, that's, he raised way more than that. And he has invested all of it into an inquiry, which I'm about to show you right now. And he invited every single person, the victims, the survivors, their parents, to come and speak for them. I mean, this guy is a G. I have to say, Rupert Lowe is a freaking G, folks. That's all I can say. Rupert Lowe is a G. That's all you can say. You can't say he's not. Who else is doing this? This man is raising money and he's doing a governmental job. Stuff that Keir Starmer is refusing and can't do. Because his masters won't allow him. Now, this is a video that went viral. Rightfully so. This topic deserves all the attention. But it's important. I want you to listen to this. This is a father of a survivor. His daughter was raped, groomed by at least 60 men. 60 men went on and on and on and on and on his daughter. Oh, God. I don't know. The anger. I don't know what I would do if that was my daughter. Definitely somebody's going in the grave. Either they're killing me first or I'm killing. All right. But yeah. So he's coming to speak and to show the public and speak about what the daughter had to go through, what the family went through. Man, it's insane what the government is covering up. And this is just one of many I'm going to show you. And this is just one of many that turned up to speak. Because this is the place that the victims and the survivors feel like this is the place where they feel like they can go to. And you got to respect the fact that Rupert Lowe, a man by himself who launched this idea, and he actually got it done. A lot of people say stuff. A lot of people say, "Oh, we're going to do this," but they actually never do anything. Listen to this, folks. I think it's important.
At this point, this is where she would go missing for 2-3 weeks at a time. I had my fears of what was going on. Them fears were confirmed a couple of years ago. So she was living in this property. She was on a child in need. She was well known to the missing persons team at Tameside Police, Great Manchester Police. I would be driving around constantly every single night, knocking on people's doors, friends of hers, trying to find where she is. Eventually, I found this property. And I try and get into this property. But also, what's important with this, 4 doors down from this terraced house is a police station. I found the property, seen her in the property, tried getting into the property. Then I went to a police station, which is Derbyshire Police, and said, my daughter, 14-year-old, is in there. I believe she's been prostituted out. Yes. Yeah? Can you get her out of the property for me? Where do you live, sir? I live in Tameside. Sorry, we can't get involved. She's not a Derbyshire resident. What? I was ringing the police every night saying, I'm at this property now. This is Tameside Police. Somebody will be there in 10 minutes. So this will be, let's say, approximately 11 o'clock at night. I was still sat there in the middle of the winter at 4 a.m. and the police didn't attend. This went on numerous times.
What reasons would they give?
Well, they didn't give me any reasons. They said they were going to turn up.
Right.
And then they didn't. So then I would get a couple of hours sleep, go to work. Then I'll be ringing the police from work for an update. Then I find out that the missing from home officers, when they came in to work at 9 a.m., I closed it. And this continuously happened. Now, to understand the missing from home police, they worked Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And I brought this up in meetings and said, do children not go missing at weekend or in the nights? Why is it not? Why isn't a more extended service?
What?
Eventually, the 2 officers text me and said, your daughter is safe. She's with her friend. So the police left her there with the groom.
Do you guys understand how big of a fuck up that is? I'm beginning to think maybe the police had some form of interest in that. Allege. So a father calls the police and say, hey, my daughter is being groomed. She's not come home. Then the police calls back and be like, actually, she's with a friend. What? A friend? A man who could be in their 60s, 40s, 30s. She's 14-year-old. What kind of 14-year-old has a friend who's above the age of 30? I mean, I don't know. When I was 14, I didn't have any friend that was over the age of 18. Every single friend I had was my age or a couple months older than me. That's it. And you're telling me a 14-year-old had a friend and the 14-year-old was sleeping away. The father is reporting this 14-year-old is being groomed for hundreds of times. But you find her and you leave her there and you call the father saying, yeah, she's with her friend. Now, this article reads, a father of a grooming victim who was raped by more than 60 men has said she still lives with the trauma every single day. Munlo West, 51 years old, said Skylar, now 20, was an academic student at a school of Greater Manchester. She was happy with good friendship group and enjoyed riding her horse. But her life changed after she was attacked by a gang of a bus station. After she was attacked by a gang at the bus station, they started bullying her. They decided it was better to become friends with her. Oh man. An older female member then started grooming her for rape gangs. Oh god, okay, this is just what? They use another female to go and groom her to bring. Yeah, Mr. West said 6 men were involved in grooming her from the age of 14, but she was raped. By more than 60 men before the abuse finally stopped, and before she turned 18. By then, she was too terrified to leave home. Oh shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Think of the conversation that this guy has to have with his daughter, folks. Imagine as a father, you look at your daughter and be like, I tried. And then you get called by the police and the police is just saying, yeah, she's with a friend. But think of what if the father did anything to those men, do you think the father will be here or would have some sort of conviction? They will arrest him so quick, right? Either the police will what? I mean, I don't know, folks. I mean, we got to learn that the police were obviously involved in some cases, but I don't know about this case particularly. I think maybe it looks to me that if you are getting paid to protect people and enforce some laws, meaning you can't let people rape young kids, and then you get caught for that particular reason, like, hey, somebody's doing this to a younger kid, to a young girl, and you don't do anything. I don't know. For me, I just feel like maybe you had some sort of incentive to cover it up. Maybe there was some sort of incentive for you not to do anything. Because that is crazy. That is insane. That is dangerous. Wow. It gets even worse, folks. It gets even worse. This is a tweet from Rupert Lowe. This is what he said. I'm going to read it out right here. A mother of a rape gang survivor, quote, this is the mother said, I would go on the phone and then I would see messages about, can you come and meet this guy because he wants a blowjob. Okay, that is crazy. Oh god, should I carry on reading this shit, bro? This is insane. And of course, that mother was asked by the inquiry panelist, this is when your daughter was 11 years old, question mark. And the mother says, when was she, when she was 11 years old? And the panelists ask, who was the guy? And the mother says, there is so many. I can't even tell you now. How come we're not arresting these guys, folks? Like, what are we doing? Are we just going to sit here and just look at these stories and just turn our eyes and look the other way? How come nobody's been put in the cuffs? I mean, this is crazy, bro. Because the amount of people who participated in this, they're still walking around. They probably own some shops. They're around. They're walking around, probably still doing the same thing. And we just sit here and we're like, oh, justice. No, justice comes by action. We need to take action right now. This is crazy, folks. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing here? What the fuck? This is crazy. All right, so there's another one. There's another screenshot from this, I believe, another screenshot. I don't know if it's the same mother, but this is what it says. So the mother of a rape gang survivor, quote, she disappeared on Christmas Day. The first time the police brought her back, I said to the police, she's with a strange guy in the flat, charging her phone apparently. And they didn't want to talk about who the man was, where he was from, or anything. All the police had to say to me is, can you come to some agreement where you both can work together so she doesn't go missing again? What sort of agreement? What is the police saying? Hey, go make an agreement with a pedophile. Go make an agreement with your kid's groomer. You just go sign a little pack. Maybe do a little pinky promise. Like, hey, promise you're going to bring it back. Promise you're going to bring it back before 5. Is this what the police was saying? Or maybe it's the police saying, hey, please don't, just saw your business. Don't call us. Is this their approach? It looks like that's their approach. It looks like the police, they're tired being called, right? It looks like that way. I don't know about you, but that is concerning for a police officer to say, hey, can you come to an agreement so she doesn't have to go missing? Who? Agreement with who? The daughter or the groomer? Which one is it? Again, folks, I told you this is going to get worse. Rupert Lowe is making a history. He is doing something that nobody has ever done before apart from Tommy Robinson. This guy is doing something that Keir Starmer don't even have the balls to do. Here's another video I want you to watch. Viewer discretion advised, because this, of course, is sensitive. All right, let's watch this.
Today, we confront one of the gravest moral failures in British history. For decades, children across the United Kingdom, from as young as 4 years old, were groomed, trafficked, raped, beaten, tortured, drugged, impregnated, criminalised, murdered, and psychologically destroyed by organised groups of men and women. These were not relationships, bad choices, or lovesick teenagers, nor were they prostitutes or little white slags. These were sustained campaigns of exploitation against children who were terrified, vulnerable, and systematically trapped. Children were degraded. They were humiliated. They were controlled through violence, threats, drugs, alcohol, and terror. Children forced to carry weapons, sell drugs, and commit murder. They were forced to dig their own graves, petrol poured over them and set on fire, scriptures from the Quran read out whilst they were being gang raped. Young children placed inside microwaves, ovens, and freezers in an attempt to murder them. Ouija boards used to call on spirits and demons, animals killed and used in sexual acts against children, and children forced to abuse and rape other children. Many were passed from rapist to rapist like a piece of meat. Some did not survive their exploitation, suicide, substance abuse, and murder. This was never just about sexual gratification or money. It was about power, about domination, about breaking a child's sense of self until they believed escape was impossible and help would never come. Years later, they were told by professionals they must take medication or their children could be removed from their care. If they spoke publicly, they would lose custody. Victims were told they are too damaged by their trauma to care for their own children. They were then removed and placed into the care system and trafficked. Rapists have been invited into the lives of the victims' children. Children born from their crimes were forced into contact and custody with the men that raped their mothers by social workers and the family courts. The professionals who should have protected them did not and still aren't. This inquiry is exposing something equally horrifying: the scale of institutional failure. Warning signs were there, reports were made, patterns emerged, DNA ignored, and evidence destroyed. Yet again and again, professionals dismissed victims as troubled, promiscuous, or consenting. Children in care were written off, raped by staff, and sold onto gangs. Children from troubled homes were judged and blamed instead of safeguarded. Parents were threatened with fines and arrest if they continued to try and safeguard their children. Files were closed. Opportunities to intervene were missed or avoided. Police officers abused and raped the children and handed them back to the men that raped them, while social workers looked the other way, which allowed the predators to thrive. Whistleblowers were targeted, threatened, and silenced. And yes, politics played a role. Political parties sacrificed children for votes. When leaders hesitate to confront abuse because the issue is uncomfortable, children pay the price. Far too many children paid the price because people didn't want to be called racist or Islamophobic. This inquiry will not hesitate. We will follow evidence wherever it leads, into institutions, into systems, into cultures of silence, and into any place where truth has been buried. No race, religion, profession, no agency, no office is beyond scrutiny. To the survivors, you were children. You were not to blame, you were failed. This country should have protected you, and it did not. The true scale of what has happened and is still happening is far too large for our inquiry and will take many years to unravel. The majority of victims and families may never receive any form of justice, but that does not mean that we as an inquiry cannot be ambitious enough to try. I would like to thank MP Rupert Lowe for setting up the inquiry when our own government refused. My team for all their hard work. It's been a hard and emotional journey, and one we are still on. But more importantly, I would like to thank every participant that has worked with us and will continue to work with us after the hearings. The strength, determination and bravery of survivors of this evil crime never fail to amaze me.
Yeah. This is what we have in the country. No politicians have spoke about this. I've not seen any politicians congratulating Rupert Lowe for the amazing work that he's put on. I guess they want this buried. I guess they do not want to lose the vote. And this is the dangerous thing, folks. They are able to sell out the kids for votes. And that is dangerous. And that is scary. And that's the reason why we have Jeffrey Epstein stuff going on. That's the reason why we have grooming gang stuff still not solved. Because these guys, they do not want to touch this. Because if they touch the Jeffrey Epstein and come out clean, they lose the big funding that they get from all these billionaires, businessmen, and all these think tanks and all these charities and all these stuff. They're going to lose the money. And if they touch grooming gang, they're going to lose the vote from these little communities that they try so hard to protect. And of course, we are caught in between this. This is crazy. It's dangerous. Out to Sammy Woodhouse, a good guest on the show here. I think we should get her on, but I do not want to interrupt her. I think she's doing an amazing job. I want to cheer on. I want to cheer from the background. I think her and Rupert Lowe are making a killing, I have to say. Her and Rupert Lowe are doing a great job. So, but after this inquiry, I think we should get either Rupert Lowe or Sammy Woodhouse to come on the show. She's appeared on the show before, I think it's last year, I think. But she's doing a great job. All right, folks. I want to talk about some. Also, I want to cover more stories as well. We got like 2-3 stories before we end this. But what do you guys think of Rupert Lowe? Yes, Rupert. Is Rupert Lowe a patriot? Do you consider Rupert Lowe a patriot? Put a W in the chat. Put W. Just put the W. All right. Just let me just show you. Yeah. You see your keyboard. You type W and you send it. Can you see my W? Yeah. Put W in the chat. Rupert Lowe is a patriot. I really do respect this man. He's done a lot more than I would say Kestama has. And alone as well. He's just doing it alone. He's spending his own money to get this thing going. And he's making a killing. All right, W in the chat. Oh, so many W's. Yes, I think Rupert Lowe is a patriot. W in the chat for Rupert Lowe, folks. All right, I want to show you something else. There's a guy. Oh, so many W's. God, a W in the chat for Rupert Lowe. Let me put my W's as well. You guys are rusting the W's here. Okay, W in the chat for Rupert Lowe. He's a patriot for sure. Should we get him on the show? I think we should. I think he's doing a great job. I want to talk to you about this other story. This other story is about Saeed Butt. Saeed Butt. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. I don't know if you guys have heard of this guy, this new figure who was emerging. Now he's been going everywhere. He's running for a councillor in the seat in Birmingham Council. In Birmingham City Council. He's running for a seat over there. And he was asked about Hamas. And and this is what he had to say. Saeed Butt. Listen to this, folks.
Hamas is a legitimate group that is fighting for the freedom of the Palestinians.
Okay, so they're not a terrorist organisation?
No.
Okay, so October the 7th, that was justified?
October the 7th was a reflection of what was going on there. I'm against the killing of any innocent civilians of any religion. It's not acceptable. And if that's what's happened, and as it seems that is what happened, then obviously it's condemnable.
What you're accused of is trying to blow up British institutions. So how should we trust you to now run one?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'll do a damn sight better job than the current Labour incumbents that are sitting there right now, who have turned our city into a dump. We have councillors that don't speak English, that can't read and write, and yet they're getting elected. Why is the Labour allowing these kind of candidates to be elected? I will do a much better job than them. And like I said, I'm innocent of all the charges that were leveled against me, so I wasn't plotting to do anything. And for the last 30 years, almost 30 years, that's the question. What have I been doing in those 30 years since then? I've been working in the community. I've been working with West Midlands Police around antisocial behaviour and drugs and anti-gangs. I've worked with the Home Office on de-radicalisation programs. I am one of the main guys on this de-radicalisation program. Why? Because of my background.
Okay.
It's madness.
Right, I patently understand that I've been ambushed this morning by the production team here. I'm sorry. Going to Birmingham on Monday. Hamas is a legitimate organisation, and October the 7th was a reflection on what's going on. Are you joking? The amount of Jewish friends I've got? No. Jewish people were murdered, and I can't even tell you what happened on October the 7th. That man is going to run for office. He says, I've been working with the West Midlands Police Force. Great. This is just Jeremy Carl's opinion. One of the most corrupt police forces this country's ever bleeding well seen. Fact. Unbelievable.
Well,
how is he going to be elected? What am I doing?
Well, I think it's more of an expose, really. It's actually quite good to know that
Yeah, so of course Saeed Bot has come out and said that he refused to denounce Hamas as a terrorist organization. Now, of course, he made a claim saying he's making the community more safer than anybody else. How about we play this video, eh? I was there. I didn't get to talk to him because I didn't know who he was. I didn't get to talk to him. But when I was in Birmingham, which I'm going to Birmingham very soon, I'm gonna be with Saeed Bot. We're gonna be live. We're gonna be with all the controversial Muslim people in Birmingham. So tune into that. Tune into that. That's gonna be so much fun. I don't know if I should go. I don't know if I'm gonna be safe. I've been contemplating if I should go or not. But I'm gonna be there with Saeed Bot, Shakil Afsar, Ahmed Yaqub. So tune into that. I hope, of course, nothing crazy stuff happens to me. But it's important to show and let these guys talk and see what they think. Because when you let them talk, you get to hear stuff like this. So he made a claim saying he's the one that's been doing a great thing for the community. Now listen to this video of him in Birmingham. I was there. He was talking about, he was giving advice to young people what to do when somebody comes to your face. Listen to this for a man who's been looking after the community. Listen to this.
You need to be earning halal rizq, and you need to be in that gym, doing that MMA, doing that boxing, lifting those weights, strengthening yourselves up, so that if anyone comes into your face, remember, Muslims are not pacifists. If somebody comes into your face, you knock his teeth out. That's my message to them.
If he has any teeth.
If they have teeth.
Okay, so, like Brother Shahid said, and to sort of add on to it, build your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Most importantly, observe your salawat, observe your prayers. Keep your tongue moist with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This awakening ain't going to come by these protests. Let's be frank. Yeah. It's to build your spiritual connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to act upon the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Put that in front of your mind. We see many people who look up to their role models, and our role model is the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So let's keep that connection, and victory will come. Wallah al-azim, it will come, but it requires sacrifice, it requires patience, and it requires persistence. And that's my last message. So Brother Shahid, Allah yubarik feek. Until next time,
so now they say this guy makes a claim saying he's the guy who's been working and preparing and prioritizing the street. Really? You're advertising you're advising young people to go and punch people in the face? I'm sorry, that's not what people who look after the street do. That's what thugs do. All right, that's what thugs do. Okay, and yeah. So of course, this man, of course, has announced that he's running for. Alhamdulillah. He's running to become he's running for a seat. Here's the promotion video that they made with obviously the three guys. That it's always these two guys. It's always these two folks. But watch this. I think watch this. Watch this clip.
In Sparkhill, alhamdulillah, this is for the side, and he is your candidate for the upcoming council elections in May. Make sure you throw your full support behind him, because now is at a time to get rid of the Labour councillors here in Sparkhill and Birmingham.
Absolutely. For those of you who know us, know that we have been passionately working for our community. Me and Ahmed at the last general election stood for the parliamentary seat, and now it's the council election. That's why we have put our weight behind a candidate who has weight within the community. I urge you at the next May election, the council election, you must vote for our candidate Shahid Butt, and also our other candidate who is Bilal Arabi, who couldn't make it here today. Over to you, Brother Shahid.
With the help of Allah,
with your support and with these guys behind me, I know we're going to take this, inshallah. Inshallah.
Remember that. In Sparkhill,
So-
alhamdulillah.
So yeah, this is what they have going. This is of course them, Saeed Butt, Sparkhill, and yeah, and of course he made a claim that saying he's done more for the community than anybody else. All right, and of course he refused to denounce Hamas as a terrorist organization, and of course he's been accused of wanting to bomb a British consulate in Yemen, and he was arrested for 5 years for that. And of course, he's denied wrongdoing. Apparently, that it was a sham court and they put him in jail for no reason. So he was convicted for being, for terrorism, and he was arrested for terrorism. And now he says Hamas is not a terrorist organization. And of course, he wants to run to he wants to win a Sparkhill seat in Birmingham. Well, good luck to Britain, hey. Good freaking luck for Britain. All right. That's all I can say. Good luck to Britain, folks. All right, I got another story that I want to talk about today. I'm not sure if you guys are tired. Are you guys tired? Yeah, I'm not. Are you guys tired? I'm not. I'm just getting started, folks. I'm just getting started, right? You can't get tired. We got a country to save. Don't be tired, all right? We got a country to save here. You can't get tired. We got another story that I think this story is quite, I don't know, it's so, like, how does this thing exist? I don't know how to present this to you guys. I'm gonna need your help in the chat. What do you guys think of this story? But let me just line it up for you. Oh God, this is just like, how did we elect people like this? All right, folks. So my next story is about this former Labour councillor, mayor. This former mayor of Brexham, in Berkshire. I mean, oh God, how do I do this? How do I represent this to you guys? This Labour mayor, former mayor, hide his son and evidence of his son after he raped a 15-year-old kid. This is a politician for the Labour Party who hide evidence to help the son get away for raping a 15-year-old kid. This is terrifying, folks. How did we get here, folks? How did we get here? I want to know, how did we get here? How did we elect people like this? So she, of course, defended her son, and she did everything possible to, of course, defend the son. So this is what the article reads. Now let's get this article out so we can read it to you guys. So former Labour mayor helps son hide rape evidence, courts heard. A former Labour mayor helps her son hide evidence of his alleged rape of a 15-year-old girl, court has heard. Nahid Ijaz, the former mayor of Brexham in Berkshire, allegedly delayed police officers when they came to arrest a 41-year-old Diwani Khan in September 2024. Warwickshire Crown Council heard that she stopped officers entering her home for some minutes and spoke to her son in Urdu to assist him in concealing a phone which contained a video of the alleged sex attack. Khan is accused of giving a girl, who cannot be named for legal reasons, MDMA and vodka in June 2024 before raping her when she was blacked out. The prosecutor says that when she awoke in the back of the seat of his car without any clothes, and Khan shown her a video of him having sex with her, choking her, and slapping her face. Now, it was claimed that Khan, who appeared with Mrs. Ijaz at the official function, told the girl that she belonged to him before threatening to show the video to her mother. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. All right, this is like, yeah, this is crazy. This was a mayor of Brexham. How can you, like, she protected her son. She helped him hide. Is she gonna be jailed? I hope so. I really do hope so. Do you guys wanna, should I carry on reading this? It gets more descriptive, it gets more detailed at the very end, which is very uncomfortable to read, especially with doing this on YouTube as well. So should I show you this article full on? This is insane. This is insane. In the early hours of morning on September 12, 2024, police arrived at the property that Miss Ejaz and Khan shared. When the police came to arrest Khan, she delayed opening the door and helped him hide his mobile phone, said Edward Wilder, prosecuting. Quote, mobile phone was likely to have material that would be evidence in Mr. Khan's case. Khan gave a phone to a police, but it was not the one he was out with. It was not the one that the video was on. By the way, this is a counselor, bro. What does she do? I mean, sorry, no, this is not a counselor. This is a mayor. I mean, bro, your job is to protect the fucking kids. Look after the thing. Allocate resources to protecting the citizens, but no, you're gonna defend and you're gonna hide evidence. Oh God. All right, let's carry on reading this. I think it's important we read this whole thing. When the police came to the house, quotes, we say that she was aware of this was not. She was aware that this was not on the phone the police were looking for. Assistant Khan in the concealment of the phone, said Mr. Wild. We say they were speaking in Urdu in order that the police wouldn't know what they were talking about. God, that is a problem, bro. That's a big problem. This is why people, I don't know, I don't want to say anything extreme, but God, that's that's an advantage that you have with foreigners knowing another language that they can communicate with, and especially being in a position of power, they can say stuff that you will never get to know. But yeah, I guess let's carry on. They were speaking on the phones with the police, wouldn't let to know. We can't be sure that Mrs. Ejaz had any clear idea of the trouble he was in at the time, but the mother loved her son, so will stretch some ways. In this case, it is a stretch into criminality. Khan had pleaded guilty to perverting the course of justice by hiding the mobile phone from the police. The jury heard. The court was told that the threatening the girl in attempt to prevent her telling others about the rape, including that he was going to come to her house and slit her throat. I'm sure that's another crime. Let me highlight that. Just in case the police are watching, let's highlight this, folks. That's another crime. All right. Highlight this. The girl said in the police interview that she told Khan she was 15 years old. He, however, told the police that he had met her on dating app called Plenty of Fish. Whoa, what is dating app? This exist? All right, folks, hold on. All right, wait. Just wait. Let's look up. Plenty of fish. That exists? Let's go Apple Store. App Store. Plenty of fish. It exists. No way. Plenty of fish. This app exists. How is this legal? Plenty of fish. Are they referring girls to fish? These are the pictures that they have. Plenty of fish. I didn't know. Huh. The rating. Yo, this app actually exists. It's a dating site. Plenty of fish. I thought that was a joke, but an app called Plenty of Fish, and said that he thought she was 24. All right, this is insane. This is crazy. Wow. That is insane. Plenty of fish, apparently. Plenty of fucking fish, apparently. Oh, God. That's our last story today, okay? Be mindful of these mayors and be mindful of these guys. Be mindful of these apps. Plenty of fish. That's, bro, I need that app to be, I need that app. I don't know, bro. How does that app exist? Plenty of fish. I mean, which fucking okay, I get it. Capitalism. All right. You can create whatever you want. But that is crazy. I'm not blaming the app, but I just didn't know that app exists. Plenty of fish. That's crazy. All right, folks. What do you guys think of the live stream today? Good? Did we do good today? Did we do good? Do you like the consistency? I kind of like the consistency on this platform. We've become more consistent this year. We are broadcasting despite the censorship from the YouTube channel. Wait, so True Finder says years ago I went on. True Finder, what are you saying? Okay, so a comment just came through from True Finder. Did she do that? Lol, years ago I went on Plenty of Fish. It was alright back then. Really? You did? You know, I never use these dating apps, you know. I like to do it in real life. You just meet them in real life. It's more like, because when you meet a girl in real life, you basically have done your first date that day. I consider that your first date. Let's say you go outside, you're in Manchester, Piccadilly Garden, you see a nice, lovely girl, you approach her with respect. And if she wants to carry on to talk to you, you proceed with caution still. And you go ahead and of course you talk to them, and I consider that a first date. Because she's seen your face, there's no like pictures. Oh, show me how you look like, send me a picture, then you pick your favorite picture and stuff. No, but I think when you meet them in real life, it's more, okay, they've seen your face, you've seen theirs, you've made her laugh, she's seen how you talk, she's heard your voice, everything's simple, and you get a number. She knows, she's seen your face, now she can see you. The second time she'll recognize you. So I like talking to girls in real life. Old-fashioned way. You go to church and you get some aunties to connect you. Real life stuff. Not Plenty on Fish. Who's going Plenty on Fish? Really? Let's actually see what other fake apps are there over there. There's Plenty of Fish. There is this other one called Bumble, Tinder. There's Hinge, Down. What the fuck is Down? Bandu. What? Bandu? There's an app. There's another one called March. Woo. Oki. QB. Okay, that's a crazy one. Happening. Wild. There's so many inside, these sexual dating app. I think that has made it hard, and that's why we have a lot of divorce, because bro, people just keep swiping. They don't know what they want. But when you meet people in real life, you kind of decide firsthand, yeah, this is not the right one. But when you just going through pictures, sometimes you go and meet somebody that you don't even know, and the intention is not pure. So if you're looking for a man or looking for a girl, I advise you. Okay, maybe I'm too young to give you advice on dating, but hey, come on now. I advise you to just look online, look in real life. Go outside and find somebody in real life. Find somebody in real life. Ask them for a date in real life. I know it might be, hard. It's a hard job to do nowadays, where a lot of young men don't even know how to talk to women, so they reside on Pornhub instead, which is a very big epidemic. I know they try to block this, but it's still happening. We need to change that. We need to go back to an old way where people introduce people to others, where your mother's friend will introduce you to a young, lovely girl, same your age. We need to go back to that time where your community will introduce you to a girl because they know that girl, they know she's okay, they know she'll treat you well, and they know you treat her well, and they introduce you to her. I think that we need to go back to that. Not freaking Bumble, not freaking Plenty Fish. What the fuck is that? Not Tinder. People are just swiping left and right. They don't even know what they're looking for. They're just swiping. And they're paying hundreds of pounds to keep on swiping, which increased the sexual desire to a max, where they see pictures and thinking that's what they want, but really they don't. And then when they meet, they do random shit to each other, meaning they go there with not pure intention, with good intention. Forget apps, man. Forget app. Delete all your apps. Delete all your apps and go in real life. Exactly. Jamie says you can only be told yes or no. Exactly. If you're dating, if you're dating, if you're looking for dating and you try to ask a girl out, what's the worst possible answer you will get? No. That's it. Duh. That's the worst thing that would happen. There's only two options. She's gonna say no and you're gonna be embarrassed. Your little heart will hurt. Okay, that's one. And the next one, she's gonna say no and you guys will live happily ever after. It's a good risk. It's a good risk to take, to go out and ask girls out in real life rather than swiping on Bumble, swiping on Tinder, Plenty Fish, whatever. But what do you guys think about the live stream today? I think we did really well. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think we did really well. We are very consistent. We are out here. We do it all the time now. And now I think today's live stream was kind of quick. We finished all the stories. No way. I'm actually proud of myself. Sometimes I do like 40 minutes on a story. I get too passionate. We've tried to make stories more like evidence-based rather than controlled story, but we've made it more evidence, facts, visuals, and that's why there's a lot of visual. There's a lot of animation visual that takes on while we're live, and a lot of polls. That I don't know if you guys have noticed that there's a lot of polls when we're live streaming. The good guys, the team are pulling the strings from the behind, asking you guys questions and sharing the broadcast. So we've tried to make it more compact, so it's like you can receive the good nuggets. And of course, there's some opinions that I share because I get too passionate, of course, you know me. But yeah, I think we did well. Put some W's in the chat, folks. Hey, W's in the chat for the Baraka Show. W in the chat for the Baraka Show, folks. But yeah, thank you so much. By the way, what do you guys think about our new moderator? What do you guys think about our new moderator, folks? I think she's going to do a really beautiful job. True Founder has been leading the way since we started taking over YouTube. I know YouTube has been fighting back to take control by censoring us, but we got a new moderator. She goes by the name of Jenny. Hey, let's put some W's in the chat for Jenny. I think Jenny's gonna do a good job. Let's put some W in the chat for Jenny. Jenny's our new moderator. I think Jenny's still here. Is Jenny still here? Yeah, I think Jenny. Look at this team. Look at this. We got Jenny and Truefinder. Oh man, I think that's the Avengers, right? It's done. It's the mainstream media has there's no way they can hit back on this. We are assembling the beautiful team. We are getting the best team together. We got Truefinder who's active, who's passionate about the country. She knows we got a country to save here. She's not messing around. And then we got Jenny. I mean, it's a W's in the chat, folks. I'm extremely looking forward and happy about this team. And I think today was her first day. Yeah, Jenny's laughing. Today was her first day moderating. What do you guys? How do you guys think she did? Was she deleting your chats all the time? Was she putting you on a waiting list every time? Was she taking you out from the chat? I think she did well. Hey, by the way, respect the moderator. They do a good job here. So please respect them. And as we grow, we're gonna get more people involved. Of course, once the channel start doing well, it'll be cool to expand and get good team in the sense where, you know, not just having moderator online, but also bring them in closer in the sense where they also get paid and for the work that they're doing. But thank you so much for all of you guys who share the broadcast. It means a lot. It means a lot. I know YouTube is trying to censor the show. They're literally doing everything they can. I mean, we posted a video yesterday which only received 200 views. I mean, look at the channel. We're about to hit 100k subscribers and the videos is getting 300 views. I mean, how does that make sense? It makes zero sense. So thank you so much for all you guys who have been supporting the show with the likes, comments, and the shares that you guys do. It's beautiful. It's good to see. And that's the only way. I mean, the best ever form of marketing that ever exists has been word of mouth. That is the best form of marketing that's ever exists. Nobody will ever change that. The word of mouth is always the best form of marketing. And you guys have been doing a fantastic job telling your neighbors, telling your cousins, telling your brothers. And I see some comments saying, hey, my brother sent me this. I like your show now. I was thinking, sick. That is beautiful. That's what the elites want to lose. They want to lose. They want to take that away from us. They want us to lose that. Sorry. The word of mouth. They want us to lose that. They want us to not trust each other. They want us to stop recommending good stuff to each other. And they want to be the ones who do the recommendation. Trust me, they're not gonna work. They're not gonna win on that side. So thank you so much, folks, for sharing the show. It's been a blast. But folks, I'm gonna have to love you guys and leave you. But I'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And of course, we got plenty of stories to show you guys. But without further ado, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm so happy for Jenny for joining the crew. It's gonna be beautiful. Are you guys ready for Jenny to moderate? I think she's gonna be doing good. She's been here since the start, so she's gonna do good. She knows the temperature here, so I hope she doesn't get too hot and burn herself, you know. But she knows the temperature. But folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye. Thank you. Our country is built on an idea. It's an idea so powerful that some of us have died to protect it. It shapes our connection, our politics. It forms the fabric of our daily lives. And it seems so fundamental we rarely pause to consider its significance. But here's the thing. This notion is entirely uncrafted. And although it feels like it's getting stronger and it's always going to be here, the truth is, it's becoming more fragile than we realize. This concept is a community. It's built when people with shared interests, value and goals come together, interact regularly, support each other and work towards a common objective, creating a sense of belonging within the group. That's called a community. You are not just a person who happens to live in Manchester. You are Mancunian, or Londoner, or Brummy, or Scouse.
With what our leaders are doing, we are slowly losing this community. So let's stop for a moment to learn why this idea has existed forever and how it got us here. Because once you do, it makes sense why we should keep this concept alive. So help me build this community.
You've been silenced for very long, and every time you try to resist, they put you in jail.
For my children.
You've controlled your mind for so long to the point where you let them decide what your kids should learn, what gender they will be. And now you've let them to come for the whole nation, destroying what Britain once stood up for. They use this media machine not to report the facts to you, but to tell you what to think and what you should do.
Always be careful.
They're hiding the facts behind the noise, and they're recruiting pedophiles to tell you how to behave. And these politicians who meant to protect you, they're out there smashing your head on the ground. And no jail time for them. This road we've been on has been very dark for a very long time, and it's time to shine a light on the truth and advocate for justice. We the people make the nation, and if we don't stand up and advocate for justice, then we certainly won't make this nation great again. So we have to create a place for that, a place that can contribute to a more informed society. And that place is Next Frontier Media.